Okay, new Sunday night segment. Projecting the college football playoff and the New Year's Six Bowls. As the weeks go on, we might add some of the other bowls in there too. I don't know if we ever get down to the Gasparilla Bowl, but we'll see. This is interesting because I did the resume ranking. That is hype-free, no preseason projections included. This one, we will include preseason projections because we are projecting at this point. We're trying to say what we think is going to happen. I've got one in here that I think a lot of people are going to go, really? You think so? But everything else, I think probably people will feel pretty comfortable with. We'll start in the Sugar Bowl. Number 1, Georgia versus number 4, Florida State. And this is one where I think Georgia's got that other gear. I just mentioned that halftime video from the South Carolina game. A team that can do that can just turn it on like that, you got to have a lot of confidence in. And I think Georgia, they've got so many players who've been there before. Like, you saw how calm they were. Nobody was panicking. I just don't know that there's a situation that's on their schedule that's going to keep them from going undefeated. I could be wrong. Maybe there's a team down the road that really shocks them. But right now, Georgia looks like they can handle anything that gets thrown their way. So I'm leaving Georgia up there where the hype left, put them in the first place, and have them playing the Seminoles. And the Seminoles are now in the driver's seat in the ACC. That does not mean they stay here. This is a tough league. Florida State has Duke and Miami still on the schedule. North Carolina is still to be heard from in the ACC. There's a lot left there, and that conference is going to be very exciting the rest of this season. Let us move to the other semifinal in the Rose Bowl. Penn State and Texas. That's right. I am saying Penn State comes out of the Big Ten. Now, I actually think if somebody gets 2 in this year, it'll be the Big Ten. But I'm not sure anybody's going to get 2 in because the Pac-12 is loaded. Now, it could cannibalize itself. But also, if Texas or Oklahoma comes undefeated out of the Big 12, which is a possibility, it might keep the Big Ten or anybody else from threatening to get 2 in. So Penn State, we talked about earlier in the resume ranking. I think Drew Aller just changes the ceiling for this team. They still have to go to Columbus and win or beat Michigan in Ann Arbor. I think they got to win one of those two and then hope the Michigan-Ohio State game falls their way, or they could just win them both. And then they've got room for error, or I don't know that they'd be the 2 seed in that case. They might be the 1 seed in that case if they did that. Number 3, I have Texas. I think the Longhorns are talented enough to do this. I know I keep saying I need to see it first, but they keep showing it. The win against Alabama looks better based on what we saw from Alabama against Ole Miss. And the way Texas beat Baylor was what you want to see from Texas. What we keep saying, we need to see them dominate the teams they're supposed to dominate. They did that. So I'm putting them there. Orange Bowl, North Carolina and Michigan. Yeah, I don't really know how to handicap the Big Ten other than pick the team I think gets out of there. And I said that's Penn State. And then we'll see where the other ones fall. But the way the Orange Bowl selection works is they've got to pick an ACC team. I'm projecting North Carolina as the team that is second best in the ACC, or maybe loses to Florida State in the ACC title game. And then Michigan, I'm saying they fall short. Maybe they fall short in State College, and then maybe they beat Ohio State. But we'll have to see what happens down the road. That would be a fun game, though, North Carolina, Michigan in the Orange Bowl. Fiesta Bowl, USC, Fresno State. That USC defense against Arizona State, I got to admit, that scared me. A better USC defense, I think USC could get out of the Pac-12. I think USC could get out of the Pac-12 as a playoff team. I think Oregon could potentially get out of the Pac-12 as a playoff team. Washington might be able to get out of the Pac-12 as a playoff team. We'll see about Utah. But USC playing the defense it played against Arizona State will not make it out of the Pac-12 as a 13-0 or 12-1 conference champ. They will get beat once, maybe twice. They might lose to Notre Dame, which doesn't hurt them in the conference, but does hurt them for playoff consideration. So they've got to get better on that side of the ball. They cannot have games like that. I watched Notre Dame against Ohio State. Notre Dame's offense was stymied by the Buckeyes. that offense will score on USC's defense if it's playing like it was in Tempe. That's all there is to it. So USC's got to tighten that up. Fresno State right now, by the way, this is sort of the reason why the USC defense scares you. Fresno State shut out Arizona State last week. USC gave up 28 points. So that's the concern. But Fresno State playing like potentially the best team in the group of 5. So I know USC, the fans don't want to see this because they lost a New Year's Six Bowl to a group of 5 team last year. But they have to play better defensively or they're going to be stuck in something like this. Peach Bowl, Ohio State, Alabama. You finally get a rematch of that 2014 Sugar Bowl. I guess you got that in the national championship game. I don't know if we're counting the COVID season, but this would be a fun game. Alabama felt like it had some work to do. But the thing is, Alabama's only got one loss. It's to Texas. They're a very good team. Alabama's still undefeated in SEC play. So nothing's over yet for the Crimson Tide. And then Ohio State, again, this is me picking Penn State to be the one that comes out of the Big Ten. It could be Ohio State. It could be Michigan. But if it falls this way, that Ohio State-Alabama game would be a very, very fun night in Atlanta. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.